Dave says, a handful of so-called experts who've never encountered the breed, never worked with the breed. You know, some of them retired, some of them are academics, but not in the world of dog, you know, nothing to do with animals whatsoever, who really, I mean, I believe when reading things like the Bully Watch report, they do say this is research that's been done on the back of a napkin. So then why has that research been taken so seriously? What you're experiencing is you're walking down the street with your dog and you're seeing parents pull their children out of the way as you walk towards them. And yet what they should be worried about is the traffic, because that's where the danger is. When you look at actual, you know, dog fatalities that have been caused by dogs is always a tragedy. Any preventable death is a tragedy. But the real spin that our Prime Minister's put on this is that we need to protect the children. He's put that in his kind of manifesto about this. But when you look at the 4 child deaths last year that were caused by dogs, there were 4 different breeds. So why is all the attention coming on the XL Bully? And I get accused all the time by people on social media of having no empathy for the victims. Of course I have empathy for victims. But what I do wonder about is the victims who have died from other dog attacks, other breeds. Because they must be sat there thinking, well, why is this breed the only one that's getting any focus? What about the dog that attacked my family that was a different breed? And this is really why I think we should be pushing for a different solution. Because you mentioned something earlier about the type of owner. You know, a lot of these attacks we're seeing dogs that are off lead, no identification, no collar. These are things that are basic laws in the UK that should be abided by. And so, as we keep saying, that they are looking at the wrong end of the lead, and we need better legislation for responsible dog ownership.
You're absolutely accurate. Over here in the United States, they call this BSL. BSL stands for Breed Specific Legislature, and it also stands for bullshit laws. Because basically, that's the way I look at it. And it's been proven to be ineffective in so many places. And one of the examples I gave the day previously when we were speaking was Ohio. Ohio had BSL in place. They didn't want American Pit Bull Terriers there. And when they put that in place, they did not stop or deter the people that really wanted American Pit Bull Terriers, right? They would still get the dog. So what they did was it took them a while, it took them a long while, but they switched it, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And what they did was they put the focal point on the owner. If this happens, these are the repercussions. These are the requirements for you to own this breed of dog in this state. And you have to be compliant or you can't. And if you breach, this is the first sanction, this is the second sanction, this is the first fine, this is the second fine. Guess what? You don't hear about it anymore. It's fine. You don't hear about it. That's the way it works. But if you focus only on the end of the lead that has the dog, what happens is that type of owner will go ahead and find a different style of dog. Maybe it's going to be a Malinois. Maybe it's going to be a Kangol. Who knows what they're going to go to next? You can put the exact same thing. And now you're going to be worried about, do I need to put a ban in place for the Kangol or for the Malinois, where you did not address the actual problem, right? And if you did, that would have been a lot better and a lot more effective than just throwing a blanket ban out there.
And I think something to pick up on, Andre, that is really important that I'm not sure if everybody's aware of is that breed-specific legislation over here is not about the breed at all. It's about what the dog looks like. So what is happening right now in our government is that they are working with people, we don't know who, to decide what the XL Bully is. They're not asking experts in the XL Bully, they are deciding, and they'll probably decide it based on measurements, which is what they did with the pit bull. So they took around 60 measurements and said that if the dog meets a specific number of those measurements, then that dog is the type. And it would not matter if you could provide lineage for that dog. It would not matter if you could provide DNA. It wouldn't matter if you could say, actually, this dog is a cross between a Labrador and a Staffy, which very often they are the dogs that are seized as being pit bull type. This is one thing that we're really trying to get across here in the UK. People with Cane Corsos, people with Presa Canaris, people with Staffordshire Bull Terriers, you know, they could end up being typed as an XL Bully. And it will not matter what the the owner says about what breed that dog is. It will only matter if that dog meets the measurement that our government has decided is an XL bully. And so we're going to see not just, 100,000 dogs, which is already 10 times more than when the pit bull ban came in 1991. We're potentially going to see 500,000, maybe more, who knows, dogs that end up being typed just because of their measurements.
And one of the things, I stayed up, being the weirdo that I am, and watched as much of the parliament meetings as I could. So I was able to see, like, you've done really well, really well. But with that being said, I noticed there was a lot of things that they conceded to that really shocked me. They being the lady, it was a heavyset lady that was in charge of pushing the ban, enforcing the ban on the Prime Minister's behalf. I'm not sure if they...
Therese Coffrey, I think, Environmental Health Secretary, yes.
Right, but when they asked her about are you able to identify the breed? She was very clear in saying, that's in the works, or we're getting there, and they're not even consulting if they consult the same level of expert that they've done up to this point, expert being used very loosely, that's going to be a problem, because you have to be able to identify something to enforce any laws. Let's say they do the licensing. What dogs are you licensing? You still need to be able to identify that dog. And they're not talking to the proper people that can give them breed type, that can give them the proper ways to be able to identify breed type, temperament, stature, top line, head shape. There's a lot of things that will go in muzzle. There's a lot of identifying traits that need to be there outside of a measurement. Measurement means nothing.
The biggest one is registration. I mean, that's the biggest one. If your dog has paperwork that says, from a reputable registry, that says this is of this breed, that's the biggest identifying factor of all.
There is. Yeah. There is. Let's go to another mistruth, since we're on that topic. There was a gentleman, he had darker hair. He was a white guy that had kind of tall. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's been the lead spokesman, it seems, outside of the lady that I mentioned.
You should know who that guy. That's their expert, I think, right?
I really want to talk to this guy. He does not have a clue, but he speaks as if he's super knowledgeable about the breed. And one of the things he said was that they were inbreeding, that we were inbreeding to increase the size and aggression and muscle on the American Bully for fighting purposes. So we're taking a fighting dog. Remember, this is not a fighting dog from the beginning, so he's already off from stating that. But we're taking this quote-unquote fighting dog and doing inbreeding to create bigger, larger fighting dogs. Now, as a breeder, I've studied breeding. There's only 3 types of breeding you can do. There's inbreeding, line breeding, and outcrosses. There is no other type of breeding that is.
No other. Yeah.
Right. So when you start talking about creating what's called hybrid vigor, that only comes in usually in outcross, and if you're lucky and you have really good blood, doing a line breeding. Inbreeding does the opposite. You actually will have genetic effects as far as temperament issues and things of that nature, maybe some physical issues if you have a bad litter, but you won't see supersized hybrid vigor come from that. They're going to get smaller. The highly bred dogs get smaller, not larger.
When you inbreed the American Bully breed, you get smaller dogs. When you line breed, you still will start to scale down on size. It's just the nature of this particular breed. So by anybody saying inbreeding is creating bigger dogs, that means they have absolutely no knowledge of breed. And I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing. Inbreeding causes mutations. Sometimes you bring up what we say, the flaws, the bad traits.
You're doubling on the positive attributes and the flaws at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But the breed always scales down in size. So
it does.
I mean, there's so many ways to debunk their so-called expert. But again, I mean, this is not an expert. And this is not an expert on dogs in general.
In general. And these guys are being taken serious, and they're saying this during parliament meetings with a straight face. I was really waiting for somebody to push back there. I really wanted some pushback. The second he said inbreeding, I'm like, got him. That's great. He said that on tape. Somebody needs to push back.
We've not heard anybody speak like how you've both spoken in Parliament. Nobody has been able to speak with that authority. It's just very clear that they're not using experts in what we would describe as experts. They're using people who, has a doctorate, has an academic qualification, but that has nothing to do with dogs, and has just found himself on this kind of trail of destroying many people's lives who have lovely pets and are scared for what the future holds for them.
I agree. So let me kind of recap and then we can move forward. So we have Dave founding the ABKC. We have the breed gaining popularity worldwide. We have it gaining tremendous traction in the UK. We have the explosion during COVID. We have the sensationalized events where they were claiming that these were XL American bullies doing these attacks. And I did review some of those attacks, and what Dave said was absolutely accurate. American Pit Bull Terriers, mixed breeds. Very rarely did I say that is definitely an XL American bully. And I know XL American bullies. I have 18 on the property that I'm sitting on right now, right? I know them very well. So with that being said, we've seen that happen. We see the proposed ban by the Prime Minister. So where are we now, and what can we do to push back and make sure that this breed is properly represented and that this ban has some opposition that can actually get traction and deviate the course of events to save these dogs? What can we do? Where are we at now?
I think it's important to say I spoke to somebody in animal policy right after this ban was announced, and he said to me, there has never been a better time to fight against breed-specific legislation. He said it's just never had the attention that it has currently. And with obviously technology today and social media, he said there is a real chance to overturn this and take action against it. And I think that our government did not expect the pushback from the public. Over 500,000 people have signed a petition against the ban, which it might not sound like a big number for all of you.
500,000 people, 500,000 people showing up to support. And you know what? There was actually more than that. This is the crazy thing. On my YouTube channel, what I did was I made a video and put the link in the description. And a lot of people from the States wanted to contribute, wanted to sign, but they couldn't because it was based in the UK. So when they tried to sign, they couldn't. So there's actually more than 500,000 people supporting the cause right now and what's going on over there. But only some of them can get involved. But the good thing is what we're going to introduce now, those people that wanted to contribute then will have a chance to jump in and have their voice heard and show their support during this phase.
And I think, the response in the UK and the support from the US has been incredible as well, to see everybody kind of jump in and see what they could do, and the disappointment of not being able to sign the petition because you do have to be a UK resident. But what we've seen a huge amount of protests. There have been protests today.
That's been peaceful. They
have been absolutely peaceful. Yeah, all protests have been peaceful. People haven't taken their dogs. Again, the media's jumped on that. Why haven't you brought your dogs? Well, it's just not sensible, is it?
It's not sensible at all. No.
Police there, loud noises, etc. Then no, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't take my dog to a protest.
That was whoever decided that was very intelligent, because that just leads to the potential of something happening that wouldn't have happened in any other circumstances, because a bunch of people get collectively in energy. That's very intelligent. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. He's got a target of £150,000. It's a start, so we're hoping that we can, really encourage people with deep pockets to get involved. Oh, look who's here. Look at him.
Dangerous dog giving you love. Are you in a safe space? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. If you can tell us where we are right now in the process, and I can tell my people how they can help and get involved. But before Dave goes, I do want to say this. If you guys know me, there's never been one time, even for myself, that you see me attempt to raise funds for anything. I don't use my platform for that on any level. This is the one exception that I've been willing to make in the last 12, 14 years. I've had this channel right now. We have around 200,000 subscribers. We're around 85 million views. Never one time have you guys seen me come to you and say, I believe in this cause. I want you guys to click this link and donate. But on this one, if everybody that's watching this can donate $10, we're not asking a lot. We're talking about $10. We can help push back the bully ban that's happening in Europe, that's based on false information, that's based on misinformation, that's based on media hype. And we all know, anybody watching this video that truly knows anything about XL American bullies, knows that these are family-friendly pets. They're not killers, and we need to support them. Don't just say what you're going to do. There's two ways you can show up. One, share this link. Share this link everywhere. Go to their pages and share. Go to Parliament and share it. Share it on your timeline. Share it on your story. I'm willing to give out supplement. I'm willing to give out books. Whatever it takes to get people to share this link. And on top of sharing this link, click the link below this video and donate $10. We're talking about $10. You're going to spend more than that on something that you don't care about. Why not do it for something that you actually love?
First of all, the ABKC is involved in this. We've been involved in this financially, we are put down the first payment to hire the barrister. What we're looking at right now is a very small window of time. There's a very short window of time that it can be contested, which is going to be a 3-month window. The situation is we don't need the funds to pay the barrister after the 3-month window. We need it prior to the 3-month window. So this is something that has to happen, and it has to happen fast. Because before the barrister can act and before the barrister will pick up, we may need to make sure that the funds are there and they are available. The amount of funds that they're looking at to cover everything, including if it goes wrong, is about 150,000 pounds. Again, we as ABKC are completely involved in this on the financial side, but we're asking the help of everybody to donate. And like you said, even if it's just $10, that's all it will take, especially if we have 500,000 people that signed this petition. If everybody can just get involved, we should be there. And this is the best fight that we're going to have. And we have to be clear, this isn't something that's just isolated to the UK. This is something that's going to trickle down to other countries if it passes. This is something that's going to trickle down throughout Europe. And on top of that, it's just wrong. It's a discriminatory law based on emotion, not based on any factual evidence. And it's something that we should all stand against. If you're a dog lover, if you're an XL bully lover, if you're an owner of an American bully, anything out there, this is a time when we all really do need to come together, and we need to do it fast. We're just here to ask for the help of everybody possible, and we're doing our part as well.
We talk about a community. This is where you guys show up and show out, right? This is where the community support counts, right? If each one of us step up and show we can share the link, we can support by donating $10, this is how you save a breed. When you see something happening, and I've seen a couple breeders that said this, and it really irked my soul to hear these words come from them. They're saying, we're over here in America. Why do we care about the XL American bullies over there? Those are our brothers. Those are our sisters. As far as being in the bully community, and more than likely, if you have an American bully yourself, that's your dog's siblings over there on some level that you're willing to let die because you didn't want to donate $10. You didn't want to step up and share a link. Don't just comment and tell me how much you guys like the video and you support and how wrong it is. Please, I'm begging you guys, step up and support. Go ahead and donate $10 and share this link. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give at least 5 people a BGK gift pack that can show me that they've donated $10. And I guarantee you the gift pack is going to be worth a lot more than $10. I promise you that. If you guys know me, I've never said I'm going to do a giveaway without showing proof that I actually did the giveaway. I do that. I really think this is an important time to really show your support by physical action. Taking the link, sharing the link. Donating $10. The GoFundMe is beneath this video right here. You'll be able to click it and donate, and you'll be able to see it grow. You'll be able to see this happen in real time as we prepare to fight this proposed ban that's coming over in the UK. And one thing that Dave was telling me that's very important is that there's a trickle-down effect. This doesn't just isolate itself and focus only on the UK. This can start affecting Australia. It will affect Australia and other locations as well. Dave, you can speak on that because I think that's important.
Any government that follows the English law, Australia, Canada, these are things that will probably directly affect them. And again, there's already different situations throughout Europe with different BSL situations going on. And I think this would be like the icing on the cake where everybody will follow suit and say, hey, let's just start banning these breeds. So it's not just the trickle-down effect. The reality of it is real. And anytime that happens, it's unfair and it's unjust. So we all have to stand against this.
Agreed. Now, who's overseeing the funds and how they're allocated?
Sophie can answer this.
Yeah, so there is a company called licenseme.org.uk. You can go and visit the website and they can go and find out information. It's very clear, very explicit about how the funds are going to be transferred to the barrister. It's a not-for-profit organisation as well, so a not-for-profit organisation cannot take funds for their own use. So anybody who's concerned about anything like that, legalities, just go and check the website out and all the information is there. What I will say is the group of which I'm part of, the License Me group, we've been involved in this right from the very start, and we have been a little bit more behind the scenes because our area of expertise has been centred around the research, and that research that you mentioned got to the EFRA committee that discussed the XL bully ban a couple of weeks ago in Parliament, and there was multiple references to our research during that. So just to let everybody know, we have been behind the scenes the whole time, but a lot of us are business professionals, and I think that was what was needed in order to kind of come together and manage that with the barrister. What I'll be very clear to say is we are acting as the client on behalf of the community. The entire community is essentially the client, but we are just acting as the client. But we do need everyone to come together in order to create change here.
That's amazing. If the barrister is successful, right, what happens to the remaining portion of the funds?
It's probably on the website. I imagine that there is a chance that we'll have to raise more than what we've listed so far. We just don't know at this point in time. If there is a chance that there are funds left over, and also there is a note on there about if there is a chance that there's not successful and there are funds left over. So whatever happens, one thing that we've looked at is other groups that are doing work in this area, whether that is around seized dogs, charities that are doing work with seized dogs. So that is something that's going to be looked at. You raise a really good question about if it's successful and there's funds left over, then how do we manage that? So we'll take a look at that for sure.
And one thing I do want to say is my heart and mind goes out to every single one that's taken a loss. There should be nobody dying because of a dog, and we're not here to support that on any level. We're here to show that we're not a part of that, but there are reasonable solutions that keeps everybody safe, including the dog. We're here to help. We're not here to minimize anybody's pain or trauma that they experience. We're here to make sure it doesn't reoccur ever again.
Exactly. There is a solution there. The government are choosing not to listen at the moment. They have a very short term left where they have to make some decisions. They thought that this would be a decision that would be a popular one, and they thought that it would be a decision that would get them votes, and they are finding out quite the opposite. And so I think if there's one thing that we can do before this government finish their term is kick their ass, to be honest, if I was going to say.
Let's end it right there. I like that. Let's end it on that. Let's prepare to kick some ass. Make sure you guys click the links below.
Thankfully, with all the fundraising events and all the ideas that the community has come up together already, and there's some big kennels in the States as well that has also helped. You know, we're just asking for anyone out there that has anyone on platforms, social medias, anyone that's in the public eye that could help towards this cause, to find some money, just to donate towards the cause of our breed. You know, this is a lot of dogs that are about to lose their family. We're about to lose our family members, and they're about to lose their life so cheaply as well. So obviously the ABKC and the License Me Group has launched a GoFundMe page, the links below. If you could donate anything on there, if you couldn't, even a share on all your platforms. If you have a cousin that's got a big platform, or anyone you know that would help you out in a cause like this,